So, picture one of the most famous characters in all of American literature, Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man. Now, imagine he just vanishes for 20 whole years. What would happen if he decided to come back? Well, that's the huge question at the heart of The Burning Ground, a fictional sequel that actually dares to imagine that next chapter.
Okay, so after 2 decades of hiding out in this self-imposed hibernation, down in a basement lit by 1,369 light bulbs, the narrator decides it's time to emerge. And he's not driven by some newfound hope, not at all. It's something he calls the necessity of the witness. He just feels this incredible pull to get out there and share his unique view of the world.
And really, that is the question that kicks this whole story into gear. He's literally stepping out of the 1950s and walking into a totally different America. The world has definitely moved on, but has it really gotten any better?
So our story begins. He pushes open a heavy manhole cover and climbs out into the Harlem of the mid-1970s. You have to understand, he is, quite literally, a man out of time, like a ghost from another era, still wearing his old, threadbare clothes. And right away, he is just completely disoriented. The Harlem he knew, that world of jazz clubs and passionate speeches on street corners, it's just gone. In its place, you've got these cold glass towers and a new kind of aggressive music that just punches you in the gut. But that underlying tension, that weirdly suspicious quiet, that feels hauntingly familiar.
To survive this new landscape, he knows he needs a new identity. So he chooses Reinhardt, a name from his past. Reinhardt was a master of masks, right? A gambler, a lover, a reverend, all at once. This choice is deliberate. It's his way of saying that in a world that wants to slap a label on him, being fluid, being impossible to pin down, well, that's a powerful way to resist.
And this gets us right to the core of the whole story. He realizes pretty quickly that while the fashion and the music have changed, and maybe even some of the laws have changed, that fundamental problem that drove him underground in the first place, oh yeah, it's still very much alive and well.
You see, invisibility, for him, isn't a superpower. It's not about being physically unseen. It's a social thing. It's about the power dynamic of who gets to be seen as a full, complex human being, and who just gets overlooked, whose voice gets completely silenced. And he finds that dynamic is just as strong as it ever was.
But then, in the rubble of the South Bronx, he finds something completely new. It's this powerful, raw assertion of presence. He sees these young people inventing a whole new culture, a new language to literally force the world to look at them, but on their own terms. He sees the MCs, the DJs, the dancers, the graffiti writers, all of them working together. And he gets it. This isn't just art. It's a direct response to being made invisible. He recognizes it right away as that deep impulse to take the scraps and make something beautiful out of it. It's a powerful act of defiance. Now this is the real turning point, where our main character goes from just being a passive observer to an active participant. He finds his new purpose not by looking back at his own generation, but by plugging into the next one. He makes two really crucial alliances. First, there's Marcus, a young rapper who is the absolute voice of the future. He believes words are the only real power they have. And second, there's Vivian, a journalist who's obsessed with the stories that get erased from the history books. This line from Marcus just perfectly sums up the whole philosophy of this new art. Hip-hop isn't just music. He's saying it's like a tool, a technology for taking all that suffering and transforming it into something visible, something you can share, something that actually means something. It's about reclaiming your own story.
At the same time, as he's telling his own story to Vivian, he starts connecting the dots between his own past and what's happening now. He realizes the struggle never ended. It just changed its shape. And that powerful realization is what pushes him to start writing a book of his own. But trying to get his book published, that throws him into a whole new kind of war. He comes face to face with the modern, more subtle ways the system just erases voices it doesn't like. It's a kind of gatekeeping that's just as powerful as any old prejudice.
He runs through this gauntlet of rejection. Publishers tell him his book is too strange to categorize. It's too complex for a general audience. It's too dated, they say, because the country's moved on. But the most painful rejection, the one that really cuts deep, is being told his voice isn't black enough, which just means it doesn't fit into their neat, marketable stereotype.
And this is when it clicks for him. The new, sneaky kind of invisibility isn't about being ignored. It's about being seen through a distorted lens. It's about being erased because you don't conform to the very box you're trying to write your way out of. It's the ultimate paradox. You're visible, but you're not actually being seen.
After all those rejections, he finally finds one person who gets it. Just one. A single editor at a small, independent press who sees the book's power because it breaks all the rules. And that one yes changes everything.
But this journey doesn't just wrap up with a simple happy ending. Instead, what he gets from his success is a new, much deeper understanding of his role in a fight that stretches across generations.
This timeline really sums up his whole arc perfectly. You can see him go from hiding in the 50s to emerging and just watching in the 70s to finally publishing his own story, and then, in the 80s, turning his attention to documenting the story of the next generation.
He has this huge realization. The goal isn't just about his own visibility anymore. His real purpose is to be a bridge, to witness this new struggle, and make sure the story of Marcus's generation is seen and remembered.
It's like the fight for visibility is a relay race. His generation fought for legal rights. Marcus's generation is fighting for cultural definition. The methods keep changing, but that core struggle for self-definition just keeps on going. And so, the whole story leaves us with this really powerful question. Who has the power to make someone visible? Is it something that society grants you, or is it something you have to claim for yourself, through your own voice, your own art, and your own story?